Welcome back to the Your Galactic Guide. I am your host, Angharan Sage, for a special love episode for Valentine's week. What a special portal! And today I'm talking to you about the integration of the fixtures and fittings of my codex and my family's codex, and how that has created the most incredible relationships for me and my children and my partner, my children and my children and my partners, like the whole circle and the whole group. This week I actually wrote down a couple of really beautiful moments where the guide spoke to me and shared a couple of things. Some of it is personal and for the collective, and one each for Joel and Clara, and storytelling through a journey of how your galacticness is integrated into parenting and into life and into your business and into your corporate career, as well as how it's very normal, how it's grounded into your reality, and how this has so greatly impacted my life. So when I reclaimed the versions of me that was afraid to have a voice, that was afraid to be a clear channel, that was afraid to lead, that was afraid to have such galactic and feminine oracular knowledge and wisdom, my life changed immediately and massively. And the kind of decisions that I was able to put into our wheelhouse of creation for our family and the way we live and the way our relationships operate quite literally created my dream life. My dream life of connection, my dream life of expression, my dream life of how I'm raising my children, how I am leading for them, how I am unlearning for them, how I am recoding myself for them, how I'm teaching them how to recode themselves and identify pieces that only had a human word, but the human word wasn't actually representing it properly. And this is the two pieces that I want to share about Joel and Clara that happened this week. So the first one was with Clara, and she is a deeply feminine being. She's a 3-line Mani-Gen, emotional authority, Pisces sun, and I love her to absolute fucking bits, and loving her has helped me love so many versions of myself that I had left fragmented behind in the past, or that I feared was not just feared, that I knew was too much for this world, that I knew was too much for my family, that I knew was too much for my partner, that I knew was too much for my business, or for my corporate work, or for my career. And there was this beautiful symbiosis. As I healed myself more, I was able to see and witness and hold more of her. And as I saw and witnessed and held more of her, I then saw and witnessed and held more of myself. And it's been this beautiful ladder explosion of raising our frequency, raising our consciousness, raising our feminine architecture. It has been and is the greatest joy of my life, literally. Parenting, being a parent, being a wife, like loving one another, being loved and to love is the greatest thing on this plane. A million times over. And so this week, Clara was having some frustration about her room, and we are living in a home that is being renovated, and it's always a work in progress. We're always doing different things. And on this day, she was saying she wants to move to Korea. Now, if you haven't watched K-Pop Demon Hunters, that is your homework for this episode. I think I've given it to probably every single one of my clients over the past year since I came out. It's their homework. Honestly, it is so manifester, Mani-Gen, creatrix. The power of our voices, the power of our codex, the power of our passions, of our desires, just sacral. There is so much passioning and coding there. I have tingles all over my crown right now. And she is obsessed with Korea and wants to move there. And on this day, she was saying, and she was having a full-blown feminine meltdown. And I held her and I witnessed her. And she says, I hate this house, I hate this city, I hate New Zealand, I want to move. And I saw this image and I understood her so deeply because I'm a Sagittarius moon, and a splenic authority. She's also got a defined spleen. And the spleen to me feels very Sagittarius kind of energy. It's very much like, I'm out, bitch. I'm out now. And so knowing what I know about her codex and from my lived experience and understanding human design and astrology a little bit too, I wanted to set her up as a 9-year-old for making these decisions and understanding the patterns of life and of creating and of being a creatrix and of being a visionary and of being the feminine embodiment of being a sage and being a wisdom keeper and being a timeline bringer, right? And so I said to her, okay, Clara, if I was holding two things in my hand, and she was on my lap at this point, right? So she's very close to me. And I said, in my left hand, I'm holding an ice cream. What's your favorite ice cream? And she's like, Mr. Whippy, which is a soft serve ice cream. I don't know in America. I haven't looked up what Dairy Queen is, but maybe it's similar. It's in a cone, it's soft serve. They pull it out of a machine kind of thing. And she gets sherbet on top of hers. And it's so good. It's also my favorite. Anyway, and the other side, I'm holding a lettuce. I said to her, which one do you want to lick more? And she's like, the ice cream, duh. And I said, yes, amazing. But does that make the lettuce bad? And she's like, no. And I said, that's the same thing. The ice cream represents Korea and the lettuce represents New Zealand. Just because you want to go to Korea, does it make the lettuce or New Zealand bad? And she's like, no. And I was like, so what you're feeling here is two different timelines. What you're experiencing here is a desire. What you're experiencing here is something for the future. What you're experiencing is something so deeply feminine because you are a visionary and you are seeing and sensing and tasting and smelling, literally for her as the divine spleen, the world and other timelines and your desire. And I saw the weight melt off her face and melt off her shoulders and melt through her trunk of her body, all the way down through her root. And I saw it, I felt it. And the thing about living life is that when we aren't understood, when we aren't being heard, that is when conflict happens. That is inside and outside. And of course, if we have conflict on the inside of us, we then really struggle to hold space and see others. And so therefore, we will then have conflict with others, which also leads into what happened with Joel, my story about Joel. So Jeff and Joel had a disagreement about something. I don't remember what it was about. It was something little, but I don't remember what it was about. And I said to Joel, it was one of those kind of things that couldn't be fixed in the now. Oh, yes. It was one of those things that couldn't be fixed in the now moment. And Jeff realized how he should have made a different decision prior to this, like way before this, potentially even months ago, but, in the past, that would have mitigated this minor issue. And so I said to him, Dad's being the bigger person right now. And that's the saying that I said. And Joel understood what that means. So to be the bigger person, in case you haven't heard that, is more like to lay your ego down or to lay down what you want, because for the good of the situation, you don't need to have what you think you need to have, if that makes sense, to move on or to resolve the conflict or to go and do the activity or whatever they were going to go do. And he said, yes, I understand what that means, but that's the problem. The problem is the hierarchy. And I was like, oh, say more. And he's like, there is no difference between me and Dad. And I was like, oh my God. And he's meaning from a decision-making process. And the sovereignty that we have raised our children with to understand, and Joel has an undefined heart, but the gate, I think it's 21. I always think it's 26. I'm pretty sure it's 21 out of the heart. I'm not going to check because I'm an undefined head center and you just have to hear the frequency. What the gate is, it's about managing resources and about leading. So he is a incredibly powerful leader and he knows where to put resources and how to allocate resources. And this was like a resource thing. And so he knows that. I've raised him with that. By the way, if you have a child and and you are struggling because they seem to quote unquote control different things, whether that's their toys, like I'm thinking, so for Joel, I noticed about 4 years old to about 6 years old, this was like a really interesting time. And I have talked with so many mothers who are really struggling with, and particularly their sons, but their children, around this age, and how they're presenting the frustration and the behaviors and everything that they are going through. I said, you need to look at their human design and look for this specific gate coming out of the heart. I'm pretty sure it's the 21. And because if they don't have things that they get to lead in, that they get to control, that they get to share their wisdom on and allocate, this creates a deep set of its fucked upness. Honestly, it's like a launching of the gears. It's like you're missing gear 3 when you're driving, or you don't even have a clutch and you need to have it. Like, it's really fucked up from a motor perspective. It is such a giant fuck up when they do not have this, and it creates so much frustration. And every single mother that I have talked to when they're going through really difficult stages in the later toddler years, and honestly, it would continue on. If you don't adjust how you parent, this would actually completely railroad your relationship with your children. Honestly, like, it is such a pivotal gate, being about the resource and being about the wisdom. And like, we as parents, if you're listening to this, I know that our deepest desire is to see our children, is to witness them, is to see them grow bigger and better, and to honestly be better than we were. Like, the way I experience parenting and being a child to a parent, like, the way I see it is that how the world evolves is because each parent is choosing better. And when we see that, when we look back and see how our parents did better, even if our childhood wasn't perfect, our childhood is never going to be perfect. I've also thoroughly accepted that I'm going to fuck my children up. They're going to be in therapy. I'm not everything that I did, but quote unquote, like, the drive to be perfect and the drive to create a perfect environment for them, while I understand their codex, and while I know that I am doing the best fucking job literally on the whole entire planet, and while I also know that, like, I was thinking recently about how incredible my children are and our relationships are, and it's because I understand their codex. It's because I understand human design, and I have integrated it for myself first, and then I'm able to integrate a technology in a completely different way as a parent. And that's the simple fucking answer. Like, when I was learning human design in my certification, they said, like, when a child's born, they all wish that everyone wishes they had a guidebook for how to raise children, and their human design is that. And I was like, oh my God, of course it fucking is. Because of course that's been my journey of how to work, how to create, how to lead, how to heal, how to understand myself, how to make decisions, how to support myself. It's all been that. So if I can understand that for my child, holy fucking shit, And so I let Joel talk about that, and it was so his codex frequency, and it was so powerful to witness that and to hear him speak that. I hear his undefined throat, and to hear him, it's like he's speaking these codes out into the ether for the world to then play with, and for me to play with first, and for the rest of the world to engage with these codes, because they're now activated through his undefined throat, that he's now spoken out into the paradigm, into the tapestry of our matrix. And it is my greatest joy to be on the journey of a mama and a leader and a sovereign being, to see the tapestry of our family templates change from generation to generation, and to continually improve, and to honor that, and to really deeply see that. And this is the work that happens inside my private mentorship, by the way, if you're wondering how you can work with me on a high level with your relationships, whether that's in corporate, whether that's with your partner, whether that's with your family, whether that's with your children, and all of the above. It does not just have to be one thing. This happens inside my private mentorship, which I will leave down in a link in the show notes below. And this morning I had the most beautiful code drop in my waking up time. It was before sunrise, and I don't remember if it was from a dream, but it was connected to the dream. And so for me, often I hear the guides share something in the morning as I'm waking up that was like a theme or an overarching, like, how people at the end of at the end of movies, there's like the screen director and the costume designer and the assistant's assistant and all that stuff at the end, and like honoring the sponsors or the people who, whatever. the guides like do like a roundup in the credit notes as I wake up, like what are the key points, and often they sit very cellular for me, and probably only about 10% of the time I actually remember what they said. But this morning I woke up and immediately remembered what they said. And what they said, and actually no, before I share what they said, this is for the ego authorities. You need to hear this right now. So ego, heart, or will center, it's all the same name in your chart. So if you have this defined, this message is for you. So I have it undefined, so I'm here to share this wisdom with you. And I'm a lighthouse right now as I share this and activate this with you. Your creations need to be seen. Stop hiding them. This is what the guides were saying, and now I want to elaborate on that. So for Valentine's Day, I dusted off all of my cake making. I'll put a photo in the show notes as well, actually, because it's pretty fucking beautiful, because our creations are meant to be seen. There you go. I made this glorious, decadent, double vanilla cake. Okay. So imagine the beautiful, like fluffiest, but moist cake ever. Okay. Vanilla cake. It's 2 layers, so double layer. There's the most incredible buttercream ever. Once again, double vanilla, because we don't do anything in halves here. Okay. It's double or nothing. And we always get double in the cake world. And it's this round cake, but I made it into a heart shape. It is the coolest fucking thing ever. In fact, I'm looking at it right now. And on top, it is filled with homegrown berries, summer abundance, literally, like berries from the garden, herbs from the garden, and it's got like just the most, and flowers. It's got the most decadent overload abundance on top for summer. And I package it all up because that's what I do. Everything always looks very professional when you package it. And I used to be a professional cake baker, in case anyone doesn't know. So I dusted off all of my cake stuff. I haven't made a proper cake in, like with my cake decorating stuff. Oh my gosh, probably since my sister's wedding. And then before that was like years before. My sister's wedding was, I think, 3 years, I don't know, a few years ago. Anyway, and I always said the only person I'll come out of retirement for is one of my sisters for their weddings of my cake retirement. I hadn't even been making the kids' birthday cakes or anything for quite a few years. So anyway, I dusted it off and made this most decadent cake. And it's so beautiful. And I posted it on LinkedIn, I think. Anywhere else, I don't know, Facebook, Threads, somewhere else. And this is going to be so hard to describe, but like so in my dream last night, the guides were showing me the architecture, I guess, of my cake in a codex form, and the other dimensions kind of, it's really just difficult to describe what I was seeing, but it's, like, obviously there's architect drawings, but I've seen some architect drawings and blueprints in movies, like blueprints, but then mix it with a sci-fi where it's like in a hologram, and it's in front of you on a screen, and there's like layers, and you can make different layers go, and there's lots of different things weaved in. That's like that's the best way I can describe what the guys showed me. And they were showing me the tapestry of, like, even down to the cells of the different berries. Like, it was incredible. And like, like a brass band, like the harmony, the symphony of a full brass band, like that was the grandeur of this architecture. And what they showed me at the end, in the credits at the end as I was waking up, is your creations are here to be seen. And for the divine egos, I need you to know that every time you post, every time you talk, every time you show your creations, your internal and external creations, this is what's happening. The world is receiving these blueprints of the architecture all the way down to the cell microbiology, as well as the grand symphony that it comes with. It directly impacts people in such a huge way by you sharing your creations. It is literally your fucking job, they are saying, to share your creations, okay? And to allow yourself to be seen. And if there are parts of you, maybe lower down your chakras, that like buckle up and don't want to be seen, they're showing that this is inner child. and for you to sit with them and to bring them into the now moment where you are safe. And honestly, there might even be things for you to listen to, and structures like, just like I ask my children all the time, what would be supportive to you? Do the same thing, right? They have wisdom. You don't know fucking everything, bitch. They do. The past versions of you do. They hold all of the fucking answers. So allow your creations to be seen. Allow yourself to be witnessed. And enjoy this deep week of love. As I said, my children, love bug. Come here, love bug. Come have a snuggle. Come to mama, love bug. That's what I'm doing to you right now, to everybody listening. Whether you have a defined ego or not, this is my roundup. Whether you have a defined ego or not, my little love bug, enjoy this season of love. Celebrate it. Celebrate yourself. And enjoy the decadency, the delicacies of life, the textural experience, the taste, the smells. Like, be so with it, with the abundance that we have right now. I love you. Thank you for being here. This is Unhurried Sage, your galactic guide. I will speak to you very soon. Mwah. Bye.